everybody. Welcome back if you're returning. If you glean something from this every week and you're returning, then welcome back. If you're new, welcome. This portion of, if you're watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast, this is just where I talk about the importance of men's mental health, how we should take it seriously, because I don't think we take it seriously enough. I think as a society, we're getting better about it, but I still think that we as men don't take it as seriously as we probably should. And this is the tools that I've used in my own personal journey of becoming a better man, of becoming a better me that I know that I can be, that, for a while I took advantage of, or I just didn't acknowledge that I need a little bit of help. I needed to transform my thinking, transform my attitude, because I was on a self-destructive path, self-sabotaging path, and it took me years to realize that the experiences that I had in my past, which is the topic of today, the experiences that I had helped shape and form my habits moving forward. Bad habits, a lot of bad habits, some good, but a lot of bad. And although you can't escape your past, you can absolutely transform the different things that you learned. You can transform those things and learn from them if you confront your past. If you acknowledge your past, acknowledge that these things were bad, or acknowledge that you did some good things, and but you take away the good and the bad, and you learn, and you move forward, and you make conscious efforts not to repeat either the mistakes or repeat the good stuff that you did, but don't rest on all of your accomplishments. So keep moving forward, keep paving a path forward. Learn from the bad, take the good, and keep moving. So we're going to start off with acknowledging the weight of your past. Like I said, you can't escape the past. Experiences that you go through, that we go through, especially during childhood and adolescence. I had a video about that. I will have that linked up above. They have a profound impact on who we are. They shape our habits. They shape how we see others, how we see ourselves. Whether it's a tough upbringing, an absent father, societal expectations, or even our victories and achievements. Every moment has left its mark, but but here's the thing: that not all those marks they're not visible marks. Some manifest as beliefs, fears, or habits that influence how we see the world and ourselves. You know, uh, Let me just tell y'all something. I'll just as a personal example, to grow up in an environment for a little while where, and it wasn't always as apparent as now as when I'm looking back on it, but when you grow up in an environment with conflicting ideals on this particular issue, or not issue but subject, uh, there was a clash between emotions being seen as a weakness, or being vulnerable, expressing your vulnerabilities being seen as weakness, as opposed as to the opposing argument, which is like, oh, let them. But we as children crave acceptance from our parents. We crave attention and acceptance, and we want to make them proud. We want to make them proud of us and happy when we do whatever it takes as kids to do that. So if that means foregoing any sort of emotions, or in the case of in my case, where it was very conflicting, but it was absent from the person that was my hero. It wasn't always absent, but it definitely was not in abundance. So then I realized that I had migrated more so to that way of thinking than I even realized, and that was really to suppress. I tried my hardest to suppress them and the emotions that I was feeling a lot of the times. And then so because I was doing that, I had bottled it up. By my regard for others, and this is what I subconsciously learned, my regard for other people's feelings just went to the wayside because I was told, it's to suppress them. I wasn't told, I actually was not told specifically, but because I didn't experience it in abundance from the one person that I wanted it from, that's what I associated it with. And that had a negative impact in my friendships or even in personal relationships with women moving forward, which was to my detriment because I took that and generalized it over any and everybody. Like, yeah, you're not supposed to be, it's too much of a hassle. It's emotions are a waste of time. Why even have them? All they really do is they cloud your judgment, your better judgment. When sometimes they can help. Sometimes you need a one example I gave in another video is you need a good cry sometimes. You bottle so much up inside for so long and it once the dam cracks it'll flow out. It will flow out and it's unstoppable. It's absolutely unstoppable. And so, you know, when you're running on autopilot, and this is how I would this is how I would describe that. When you're running on, because at a certain point you're running on autopilot. When you're not feeling your feelings, right? That's probably a good term or a good phrase. So you're running on autopilot, and you don't realize the effects that the lack of affection that you give others because you're not allowing yourself to feel anything. You don't realize the effect that has on the ones that love you the most or that care about you the most. That was a hard one for me to. That was a hard pill for me to swallow because I was going on autopilot. That was my autopilot for a very very long time. But that's not the only thing. So when you develop these destructive habits, and that's just one example, but you fail to recognize these bad patterns and behaviors because you're doing that for so long that you know in order for that your past becomes familiar is what I mean. And in order for you get comfortable with it, and in order for you to stay there and what's familiar to you, then you avoid any real observation of how you even arrived at that place, or any real observation on the effects that you have on the people around you that are trying to get you to wake up. So one example I used in one of my other videos was, lashing out in anger. And this connects to that dam that I was telling you about. You can only hold on for so long. You can only do that for so long. And then the structure starts to fail. The dam gives way. And it comes out in really bad ways because you start to develop, there's patterns that you start to see within, and maybe you won't see it right away, but you'll think you're just going out to try and have fun, to try and relieve some stress maybe, or you're tired physically. So then you start drinking. You go out to drink and you're like, I'm just here for fun. It's the end of the week. But if you haven't done any sort of self-reflection, like I hadn't done that when I was in the Air Force, and then I ended up turning to drinking excessively. And sometimes it was fun, just for fun, and those were the nights that I had fun. And then there were some not so nice nights where it came out in really bad ways. Anger, yelling, stuff like that. And as then the fun times that I would have drinking became less and less and less, the more that I refused to confront my past and confront the things that had helped form the bad habits that that I had come to be comfortable with, but that were self-sabotaging me. So we so these habits that we develop are basically just band-aids. Some form of self-medication to maybe we've realized that we need to face our past, confront it, sort some things out so that way we can be happier. We can't put our finger on it, but we try and do these things that will cover it up so we don't have to feel that way, or we make excuses for ourselves. And until you recognize those bad patterns and behaviors for what they really are, self-sabotage, and then you're doomed to repeat these same destructive patterns and habits, and you're going to be stuck in the past. There's going to be no moving forward. And I think we instinctually, as human beings, really strive to do more and be better and make progress and accomplish things. That makes us feel good. And you should feel good when you do. And you should be striving for that. So, striving for a better you should be at the top of that list. Because you can't expect to accomplish all these great, amazing things that maybe you tell yourself or that you maybe want to do, but then you're over here doing all of these other things that you've developed developed because of the influence of the past that speaks volumes in the opposite direction, if you know what I mean. So this is a actually one of my shorter videos. It was just one of my thoughts that I had, and I figured I'd talk to y'all about it today. So think about that. Think about what you hold on to and how it affects how you act, some of the habits you've developed, and think about how healthy those habits are in your life right now, how they affect you, how they affect your progress into being the best person that you can be. Now, that doesn't mean that there's no way to get around, or not to get around it, but to squash these bad habits, because there are ways, but you have to really separate. You have to, I think I mentioned this in one of my other videos, you would have to somewhat astral project. So you'd have to get outside of yourself to look inside and then face some hard truths and accept some hard truths about yourself. Be critical about yourself. Not to the point where you're just putting yourself down, but more so to just recognize that there is an issue and that it needs to be resolved. Luckily, I've learned that you don't have to sit there. You don't have to sit in the past. You don't have to let your past dictate your future or dictate your present. It shouldn't dictate your present, much less your future. If you're not present, how do you expect to have a future? For a while, I thought there was no way out of it, but there is. There absolutely is. So there's light at the end of the tunnel. I mentioned it in a lot of my videos, and I know it's not for everybody, but it's a good starting point insofar as getting the information out of your head and saying it out loud. I found that just saying it in here really doesn't accomplish a whole lot because in here it's all just you. So you're going to maybe come to a realization, but it's going to be a little uncomfortable, and your immediate response is going to be, let me get back into my comfortable area. So then you just start making excuses for yourself. Therapy can really help. Like a therapist can really turn it around. They don't have any skin in the game with you. They are just somebody on the outside that looks at you and tries to assess, and they listen to you. Really, sometimes you could just ask them, like, look, I just need you to listen, and they'll listen. And if you want their insight, they'll tell you. But it's a good way to get stuff out and then get an outside perspective that isn't going to, that criticizes you in a positive and a constructive way. And it's not even criticism. It's just, it's just the truth. And whether you accept it or not, that's up to you. You can build more emotional awareness because you are the only one that knows how you feel. Truly. Being aware of that and acknowledging that can really help you move forward. It's like, all right, well, I'm feeling certain ways about what, I guess an example for me would be like, man, I'm really irritated today. I'm so like something is going on within me right now, and I'm going to find it. I'm going to pinpoint it. I need to figure out why I'm so irritated. And it could be something as simple as you didn't sleep very well, but that doesn't mean you take it out on everybody else. So you would follow that up. Like, Jake, how do you deal with that? I've found that reframing the narrative, reframing your internal dialogue or monologue can really help. So when you're feeling that way, it's like, okay, what's really going on? Then you acknowledge it and then you reframe it. Reframe, yeah, like, okay, well, I recognize that I'm feeling this way, and it's probably because of this, but I'm going to from now until the end of the day, I'm going to make this I'm going to finish off the day on a good note. Cuz you choose. The great thing about free will is you choose to feel good or bad. Nobody else is in charge of it. You are. So redirect the internal monologue to yourself and figure it out. Sometimes I'll sit in the car and I will literally talk to myself out loud. I'm not yelling. I'm just talking to myself out loud. Because sometimes you'll find that it really is nothing. If you say it out loud, it can really just it can really just change. It'll bring it out, and then you're like, man, that does sound a little bit silly, or I don't even know why I'm even worried about this. It's out of my control, or it's totally in my control, and I'm gonna change it. I'll change it right now. It takes practice, but it can be done. So just practice doing that. I talked about being grateful on my last video. Practice that, and I can guarantee you that that outlook of yours, that mood's going to change. That mood is going to change. One last thing that I will say before I end this video is that you should, if you surround yourself with people that don't bring any sort of value, they don't challenge you, they don't bring any value in your life, any real value. They don't elevate you. You may consider maybe narrowing the friend or relationship pool. Because you want to bring people into your life that are going to challenge you, that are going to elevate you. Surround yourself with smart people. Surround yourself with, you know, people that want to be better. People are always striving to be better. And that in turn, that's going to change the energy. It's going to change your energy, guaranteed. That would be my last piece of advice for you. I want you all to know that these videos are so fun to make. I don't get all these views on them. I don't get a whole ton of people listening. But it really has helped me to vocalize and get a lot better at presenting the information to y'all, and to really be thoughtful about what I'm saying and form it in a mostly cohesive manner, in a manner that makes sense as well. So I just appreciate anybody listening, or anybody that's gotten anything out of this, out of any of my videos. If I help one person, then I've done exactly what I set out to do with these videos. If you're if you're a guy struggling with mental health, or struggling to deal with some sort of emotional baggage or baggage from your past, or whatever the case may be, then you can reach out. I'll answer. I'll listen. If you don't want me to say anything, I won't say anything. I'll just listen. I just want you to know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, everyone, and you can absolutely do it. You can get out of whatever bad situation that you're in. I believe in you. I believe you can be better, and I believe that you know that you can be better, and I believe that you're going to make the necessary changes to get to that place that I know, and that you know, that and the people that love you know that you can be. So, appreciate y'all listening. This was a lot of fun making, and I cannot wait until the next one. So, I hope y'all take care. This is Thursday. Next video won't be out until after Christmas, so enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy time with your loved ones, and just enjoy your time. Enjoy every day. Enjoy every minute. Make the most of it. My name's Jake, and I will see you all on the next video. Take care.